Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news. Now today we have, hey yo man, we got Andre 3000 telling us why all you rappers sound the same nowadays, man. Cause you know all y'all just like y'all all sound the same. He gonna explain to you why. The legendary Andre 3000. Okay, Mister, I only play the flute now. I'm not going back to work. 3000. Okay. We also got Charleston White on men saying pause and why they're struggling with their bisexuality. We also got you gotta hear that, man. We got Zeddy Will, man. I didn't have any information on that. You like who? We gonna get to it. We got Soulja Boy going in on Tasha K, Havoc from Mobb Deep on the lady with a gun. We got Funny Marco and why he canceled his tour with Bobby Altoff, man, and what she got going on. Again, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. Yo, if this is your first time to the channel, man, be sure to hit that like button if you feel any part of the content. We definitely appreciate that. Notification bell's waiting for your tap, man. Go on and tap that, man. Subscribe button's waiting for you too, man. I'm in a terrible mood. Don't get me upset, okay? You're like, wow, what's gonna happen? Nothing. I'm just saying, like, I feel horrible. Listen, man. Where am I at over here? Okay, Charleston White. Charleston White said that those of y'all that like to say no homo and pause are really just struggling with your bisexuality, and you don't want to tell anybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Take a listen to what he had to say.
I think no homo, pause. I think those are guys that's secretly battling with their homosexual
homosexuality.
Yeah. I think those are guys who aren't for sure about themselves. Because as a man, if I'm having a conversation with other men and I'm speaking and I'm trying to get a point across, I'm not fit to say pause to let you know I'm not talking gay shit. I'm not fit to do that as a man. Why would you do that as a man? Who thinks you're saying gay shit other than you for you to say no homo?
You killed it right there. It's over now.
Yeah, homie, so who would think?
Leave me alone with that shit.
Yeah, so homie, so when I see a man doing that, I'm saying that's a gay man. By way of thoughts, because they teach you in the AA and NA classes that preoccupation of thoughts is the first step in relapsing. Before you relapse as an addict, you first start having the thoughts. Thoughts are powerful. Yeah, they dictate action. Your thoughts dictate your actions.
Pauses.
Your actions develop your habits. Your habits display your character. And your character decides your destiny.
So men that play, it's safe to say, men that play the pause game a lot are thinking about
bisexual.
They're thinking about peace.
I ain't saying what they think about. Yeah. I'm saying they bisexual.
Yeah.
If you talking to your buddy, you talking to your woman, and you got to say no homo, that mean you're bi. Yeah, that mean you're bi. That mean you're bi, and you ain't figured out a way to step out the closet. Your feet just big, they hanging out.
That man said preoccupation of thoughts are the first step to relapsing. Okay? If you always got to say that, you are preoccupied with homosexuality, then there's something wrong. You know what I mean? That reminds me of well, I'm not gonna go there. He said thoughts dictate actions, actions develop your habits, habits display your character, and character decides your destiny. Hey, look, man, if you disagree with the man, I want you to explain in the comments where he's wrong, okay, in his reasoning, and where you're right in your disagreement. If your answer is to name call or to say, oh, he needs to shut the cuss up, then he's right, and you're in your feelings. And if you're in your feelings, you can't possibly be right. You know that the more in your feelings you get, the less rational you become, and the less logical you become. I'm just letting you know what the science tells us, okay? Now, for those of y'all that do agree with Charleston White, right? And y'all agree with him and say like, oh yeah, they are struggling with it. Let me ask you this question. If a person lives in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And they're talking to a potential sodomite, okay? Do you think them having to always say no Diddy, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that they might feel like they need to say it because they're in the land of Sodom and everyone around them is always, you know what I'm saying? Very zesty at times, or they're cool with zestiness at time, or they want to pass zesty laws. You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking you a simple, if you agree with what he's saying, okay? Right? Like, does Lot have to, when Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, like when Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah, would he have been struggling with bisexuality if he had to say no homo all the time and pause every time he spoke to the dudes? You saw what they tried to do to him in Genesis 19, right? You're like, what they try to do? You ain't never read Sodom and Gomorrah, bruh? Go read it. Genesis 19. I ain't gonna tell you it's crazy though. Okay, and that's history. Let's get to the next story. I don't want to scare you. Okay. Cause I feel horrible. Andre 3000 has explained why every single rapper nowadays sounds exactly the same, and how it might have affected him coming out now. Take a listen real quick.
Rapping, once again, I'm trying to make the parallel. Like, if we would have come out as Outkast when we thought we were ready, we wouldn't be around today because we sounded like everybody else. We sounded like who we were listening to. So I think, and that's one thing now, I don't think artists have time to cultivate themselves. So a lot of artists sound the same because you can quickly jump on a microphone. But it's awesome because you get an immediacy, but you don't get time to hone who you are. You know, like even like Future came up in the dungeon. So I know like Ray has Future recordings that Future sounds different. Future was rapping. It takes a minute, like even 2 Chainz, like Tita Boy was rapping.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what I'm saying is like over time you develop a thing and you figure out, oh, this is most effective for me. You know what I mean? And we see it and we love Future for what he do now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it would have been as successful.
All right, so he said, if we were to come out as Outkast when we thought we were ready, we wouldn't be around today because we sounded like everybody else. We sounded like who we were listening to. Now, I don't think artists have the time to cultivate themselves, so a lot of artists sound the same. I can see how he's saying that, man. You know what I mean? Like, they're not really, although, I mean, let me think this through here. You could quickly jump on a microphone. It's awesome because you get, like, I think a lot of people did just jump on them. I feel like a lot of people just jumped on a microphone. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if they really studied the craft or not. Like at least where I grew up, like we saw and we were watching Rakim and we were watching Busta, we were watching Nas do it. We were watching, you know what I mean? Like we was watching, and then we looked at how the West Coast did it. You know what I'm saying? We listened to Ice-T do it, and then we was just like, man, we could do this too. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that they started it, because, you know, I'm just saying, man, we all jumped on it. You know what I mean? Anyway, didn't I have something else? I feel terrible. All right. All right, look, my people sent me the story, right? And I'm baffled as to how I ain't hear about this before. Okay. Artist Zeddy Will, okay, who also has millions of streams on TikTok. Okay. In January, he had quite a situation on his hands. You know what I mean? The man done took a picture with 5 women that he allegedly impregnated. Look, the man held a baby shower with all 5 of his BMs present. Okay? His team says, this is what his team says. They say he has the trajectory of a young Will Smith. And he's mature enough to handle the responsibility. Close quote. I think if the man has 5 women pregnant with his child simultaneously, maturity has been swept off the table. You follow me? The man's co-manager goes, society has shifted, and in turn, so has modern relationship dynamics. The essence lies in redefining relationships personally, breaking away from the one-size-fits-all approach and societal pressures to conform. Then he goes, individuals should be allowed to craft relationships that align with their values, desires, boundaries, and aspirations. Nick Cannon serves as a notable example of successful polyamory, highlighting that the definition of a relationship is a personal choice. Close quote. I mean, I mean, he put words together, but I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense. You follow what I'm saying, man? Like, first of all, Nick Cannon said 8 out of the 10 women, like 8, he said 8, if you count 10 women that he's dealt with, he said 8 of them have hygiene problems. That's what he said. 8 of them. So he said 80% of the women he's dealt with has hygiene problems, which really says that he's really nasty, right? But let's just stick with this for a second. If 80% have hygiene problems and you have 5 baby mamas, then statistically, that's like, say, if we're going to count Nick Cannon as an authority statistically, right? I think he could be an authority on the subject, right? That means 4 out of those 5 baby mamas would have had a hygiene problem, unless, like, you know, he statistically was able to find a bunch of clean people. But I'm not gonna even go with it. Here's another thing that's crazy, right? I've been covering hip hop news for 4 years. I just heard about bro yesterday. This guy, he's got to have the kind of success he should have with 5 baby moms. You should have the kind of success where we all knew about you. I just heard about you yesterday. Now, The man has over, I'm not saying he's good or bad. I never heard his stuff. I'm just saying I heard his name yesterday. Look, the man has over 1 million listeners, but like, have you heard about him? Let me know in the comments below if you heard of it. If you heard of him, maybe y'all heard, and I'm just late to the party. Okay, but I mean, ain't child support like 37% of your income or something? Let me check real quick. Let me check. All right, look. All right, look. The internet says in New York, right? For one child, child support is 17% in New York. All right. The internet says for 2 children, 25%, 3 children, 29%, 31% for 4 children, and 35% for 5 or more children. Please fact check me, because you know my facts be off sometimes. Okay. Listen, attacking the traditional nuclear family increases poverty rates. And it increases crime rates. You know how many kids tell me I'll fight my father if I ever met him? You know what I'm saying? These kids are they're traumatized by not having these men around. If women can't take care of the children monetarily, where do you think the money come from? It comes from the state. If the money comes from the state, where the state getting the money from? It's coming from you. You see what I'm saying, man? You're paying for them damn kids. And the money that should have went to your children and nieces and nephews' public school and stuff like that, resources and whatnot, it has to be reduced and redirected. Hopefully I'm wrong, okay? But I mean, they got to balance the budget. Having children out of wedlock almost guarantees that the children are going to be in poverty for extended periods of time. You're like, well, what about all the rappers? I don't think that's a good thing. A lot of the rappers are in poverty. Like, real talk. You know what I'm saying? What you think, that like all that gold is theirs? A lot of times that stuff is rented and it's fake. You follow me? Look, it's stated in the two-parent privilege book, the book Two-Parent Privilege, right? The odds of graduating high school, getting a college degree, and having high earnings in adulthood are substantially lower for children who grow up in a single mother home. That's what the studies show. Okay, cities with more than the median share of households headed by a single parent had overall crime rates of 48% and higher. And violent crime and homicide rates 118% and 55% higher. And it's also reported that rates of delinquency and crime correlate with the proportion of mother-only families with dependent children in a community. Close quote. You see the effect of absent fathers and this restructuring of the nuclear family? You know what I'm saying? Look, with people looking to celebrities to determine their success and their lineage. Oh, by the way, I think Jeezy won his baby. Because he divorced, what's her name? Jeannie Mae? I think her name is Jeannie Mae or something like that. I think he won full custody of his daughter. But I think I'm going to get on that tomorrow. Let me get on that tomorrow because I'm not 100% sure. Strike that from the record. I don't even know if that's true. Where we at over here? Do I have shout outs? I don't think I'm doing shout outs today. We super late. Sorry, Sauce. I'm sending this to you late. What's my time looking like? Yeah, we were very late. I can't do shout-outs. I apologize. My bad. Listen, it sounds like Ebro may have been pressured to not speak on what is on the minds of the culture, which is politics. This is crazy, man. Take a listen real quick.
When the ratings go down and y'all don't want to renew the contract, we won't do the contract. But speak direct and speak clear. Because when I sat across from you at your desk, or when you get on the phone with me, you ain't got that type of energy.
Well, are you sure that he brought that energy to someone else?
That's what they're saying.
The theys.
Are you being oversensitive?
You know what?
I don't know.
It's crazy, man. I mean, like, I understand that a lot of people are like, hey, man, don't talk about politics, man. It's going to hurt my feelings, man. You're talking crazy, man. Like, that's why people don't talk about it around dinner. Listen, politics is part of, like, we talk about culture, right? We're talking about culture, and culture sometimes involves difficult topics like religion and politics, ethics and morals. These things happen, man, and you got to be ready to speak on it. If you get you in your feelings to speak on it, then I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think like you have to. I believe that it's best that we can have those kinds of conversations because they're critical. You know what I mean? Like. Look, listen, man. What was I gonna say? I just lost my place. Listen. Let me just throw this out here. I think people that don't want to talk about those kinds of topics are the same type of people that say, just shut up and pass the ball when the player is bringing up awareness to the insanity that's happening outside the stadium. You understand what I'm saying, man? Like when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling and everybody was mad, like, oh, just play the sport. We don't want to see all of that. We don't want to hear your views on such and such and so and so. Like some people, they don't want to just be an entertain. They don't want to just entertain you. A lot of us don't want to just entertain you. We could be entertaining, right? But we don't want to be entertaining your children to keep their minds off of how bad their stomachs are grumbling because you in the middle class just got a tax increase while the 1% gets a tax cut. You understand what I'm saying? The bullet went through Sonia Massey's eye and came out of her neck. She was shot 2 times in the face and once in the neck, I think, right? 3 times, okay? We don't want to be present to entertain your child to keep their mind off of the fact that happens to you with the police officers not being held accountable. I don't want people that cannot be held accountable. You understand what I'm saying? To be my boss and hold the highest positions in the land. This is why he has to talk about politics. You know what I mean? Look, my boy was like, yo, but what about the men wearing dresses? Hey, look, man, you can reason a man back into a pair of pants. You can't reason your black relative that got put in a grave by a police officer out of the grave. You follow me? Listen, let me let you hear what Tyrese posted concerning that. I want you to take a close listen real quick. Sauce, you got to let this full clip ride. Take a listen.
This is Officer Sean Grayson. On July 6th, 2024, Sean murdered Sonia Massey, an unarmed black woman who called the police because she thought she heard a prowler. Sean shot Sonia 3 times in the head and neck, with her holding only a pot of boiling water, which he directed her to remove from the stove. Sean is just another in a long line of police officers that have murdered unarmed black citizens in America for years. But Donald Trump wants to give police officers like Sean qualified immunity, making it impossible for them to be held accountable for their crimes, including murder. Don't believe it? Listen to Donald Trump in his own words.
We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution. So they're not prosecuted for doing their job.
If police are killing unarmed black people without qualified immunity, what do you think will happen when they do have it? A vote against Donald Trump and qualified immunity is a vote for justice for Sonia Massey.
Heavy stuff right there, man. Hopefully you took that in, man. I mean, look, you know what I mean? Right now they're saying that Kamala is leading in the polls. You know what I mean? But if you're gonna vote, you know what I mean? Don't say, well, you know, she's leading in the polls. I don't have to do anything. Everybody gotta vote to make the difference. You follow what I'm saying, man? If you believe that she should be and this is not to say whoever you vote for you think is the best person in the world. You know what I mean? A lot of people vote the lesser of 2 evils, if you want to look at it like that. Okay. Look. Case in point, right? Let me let you hear what the infamous Mobb Deep's Havoc, what he posted. He posted this video real quick. Interesting video. Take a look real quick. Havoc asked the question, how many of y'all would let her throw boiling water in your face? Close quote. It's a rhetorical question, see? He asked that question because the woman in that video is in a police precinct. She busts off her firearm several times in the police precinct, and she's alive right now and is able to go to Starbucks tomorrow. You follow what I'm saying? Here's how some of the comments read, okay? Let me see. The comments read like this. They go, didn't I just have it? They said, oh, I see. Obviously the boiling water is in reference to the Sonia Massey story. Someone asked an honest question. They said, this is an honest question. They said, why did Sonya Massey say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus? Right? And somebody else was like, well, does it really matter? It wasn't a threat, just saying that she thinks he's of the devil. And she was right. She never made a verbal threat or aggressive motion stance once. Actually, even yelled out, I'm sorry for saying what she said as she knelt down in submission, but was still shot in the face. He did exactly what he told her he was going to do. His charges need to stick. I don't think you answered their question. They had an honest question. I don't think you answered the question, but I get it. JP says, sounded to me like she just made a joke to ease any tension. He told her to turn the water off, which resulted in her going to the stove and making a statement. He then acted like he felt threatened because of what she said. She was never a threat and never acted in a hostile manner. So I guess they're saying she sounded like she made a joke just to... Now, I kind of struggled with what I saw too, with her making that statement. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and then being shot, right? Some people would say, oh, well, that's proof positive that a demon was in the room, and maybe she could have blurted it out for whatever reason and the demon reacted. Some people say, well, if she made that statement, then why would God allow her to be killed? To which we would say, do you know how many Christian martyrs there are? I mean, people die horrible deaths as Christians all the time, and they may have been rebuking demons the whole time. Sometimes it is God's will that people go out certain ways. And I personally believe a lot of times things that we don't like happen for greater purposes and greater causes. Maybe something like that has to happen so people can see that something as important as police officers being not held accountable is on the table with an election like this. Maybe that's the reason why we need to see something like that. And I mean, you're like, oh, well, there couldn't have been any other way for it to have been done. No, maybe for the majority of people, that's the best way for people to be able to make that decision. So more people don't get shot through the eye with the bullet coming out the neck. You follow what I'm saying? It's a brutal world we live in, man. And the more we close our eyes to these kinds of things, then the less we'll even take into account that they even happen. You follow me? All right. Where do we go from here? I don't even want to cover the Soulja Boy story. We're gonna cover that another day. All right. So look, we on the same vein, man. We're gonna go here. Let me give you. Man, I wanted to go over the Smith & Wesson video, man. You know, they dropped another joint, man. We're gonna play that tomorrow. I think we're gonna play that tomorrow because I want to try to stay in the same vein. So we're gonna wrap this up. And finally, hey, look, man. All right, look. Plies has a strong message to those of y'all that have something to say about Kamala Harris, man. Take a listen real quick.
Dear everybody who got something to say about Kamala, guess what? We don't want to hear it. We do not want to hear it. Y'all ain't want to hear nothing about 45. We don't want to hear nothing. You ain't got a motherfucking say about Kamala. We don't want to motherfucking hear. Y'all can say she a motherfucking DEI. Y'all can say she a motherfucking DUI. Y'all can say she a motherfucking R&B. Just like motherfucking baby. Y'all can even say she motherfucking T.I. If y'all motherfucking want to. And y'all know I fuck with T.I. One of the smartest motherfuckers I know. So that's a compliment. So y'all can say whatever y'all want to motherfucking say about motherfucking Kamala, but we don't want to motherfucking hear it. Y'all can talk about a motherfucking husband all y'all want to. Douglas. I motherfucking like Douglas, me personally. I seen how Douglas jumped up there on that stage and protected motherfucking wife and all that. Douglas, if you ain't motherfucking listening, I want to drink a motherfucking beer with you, Douglas. A motherfucking shot, whatever you consume. If you consume anything, Douglas. I motherfucking fuck with Douglas. Cause I thought about it. I seen Douglas in his motherfucking suit the other day on the motherfucking clipboard. Douglas had a suit, but his motherfucking pants were bagging. And I say, I like that motherfucking Douglas. Douglas got some motherfucking streak in him, some motherfucking well. I look at all that. I say, I like motherfucking Douglas. And then I thought about it. I say, hey, yeah, every motherfucking Douglas I know was motherfucking black. Motherfucking Frederick Douglass. Motherfucking Buster Douglas. Motherfucking Hugh Douglas played for the Eagles. I say, man, motherfucking Douglas, you motherfucking okay with me. And to all the women, the motherfucking black women who love to post the motherfucking pictures that say, hi, I am 31 years old and I am a black woman and I would not be voting for Kamala Harris. Guess what? We don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. We ain't no fuck with y'all anyway. So listen, all I want to tell y'all is just that motherfucking simple. When anything y'all got to say about motherfucking Kamala, guess what? We don't want to motherfucking hear it.
All right. So yeah, that's what he had to say, man. Hey, look, if you're not into critical thinking and logic and reason, you know what I mean, and facts can't cause you to reconsider your position, then I feel like I almost want to agree with what Kirk Franklin said, man. You know what I mean? look, what did I say Kirk Franklin? I meant Plies. I'm sorry. Kirk Franklin, if he was a potty mouth Plies, okay? You're like, wait a minute. Kirk Franklin does have a potty mouth, though. Hey, look, man, Kirk Franklin has grown children that are low-key ungrateful, okay? I get it. Listen, for some strange reason, right? And it's black people that really get me with this, okay? Hey, look, I'm not feeling well. That's why the video's a little bit different today. For some strange reason, it seems like black people have an extra requirement for black people to have jumped through more hoops than their white counterparts. You understand what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, well, what does she do for the black community? Like that same question don't need to have the same type of weight when it's spoken about concerning a white candidate. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'll vote for a black candidate if and only if they did twice as much work as the whites. Why? Because them niggers, they just been sitting around all day eating watermelon and chicken, okay? If you're going to run for president, now you best do way more works than the average white folk. You best be exceptional, okay? Because you know all lives matter now. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I promise you, man, I'm not racist over here, okay? Even though I had to say that. Listen, everyone is equal, okay? All of us are horrible as far as I'm concerned. All of us. Okay, black people are horrible, white people are horrible, yellow people are horrible, red people are horrible. They're all horrible. Okay, all of us are horrible. Black lives matter too, TOO, right? Like as well. Black lives matter as well. They're just as important as white lives. Sadly, we have to say that, okay? Because it was misunderstood. That's why they responded with all lives matter to begin with. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I know a lot of y'all don't like the political angle, but some of the, the artists are looking at the political angle of things, of culture, and we look at the political angle of culture, and it makes a difference. You follow me? I work with a lot of kids, and I don't want to hear about them being killed. You follow me? Period. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news.